is poppin', squad? It's your boys Jesimein, and today we got some Last Stand PvP. And if you're like me, PvP is one of the biggest thing, if not the biggest thing for you in the division. So of course for the Division 2, this is like the main thing everybody is looking for. And I've been playing Division on PC a little bit, trying to get my grind up, trying to get a feel for it, to get like an experience on all ends from console to PC. And it obviously PvP is still the way to go on all platforms for me. But for the Division 2, obviously we have our wants, we have our things that we don't want, but obviously one of the main things we want is PvP. That is one of the main things people, even though we knew it was coming, people wanted to make sure that they, you know, put a lot of time into PvP, and obviously I'm pretty sure that they did because they know how much of a staple it is for a lot of players. So with that, what game modes do you want to see with Division 2? So me personally, I feel there are a lot of things that I personally want to see from it, but I have a different way of thinking. So obviously the main PvP I want to be the Dark Zone. I want the Dark Zone to have the most work put into it. I want it to be the most fleshed out. I want it to be the prime focus of PvP because that's the true PvP. The imbalance, the if you don't grind your gear, you get body type thing. That's how I like PvP. But honestly, I do feel since this is a fresh start for the developers and this is their chance to bring new fresh things to work on and new ways to keep the game's life extended, especially through the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 years that we're going to be playing it, if they do plan on making Division 3. I want them to have something that can actually hold on to PvP if the people don't like DZ. So what I mean by that, so obviously I use Last Stand as the gameplay for a specific reason, and that's because Last Stand is one of the PvP places that true people who do enjoy PvP but don't like the style the Division's DZ has come and have fun, right? So people come in, the more casual players that want to actually shoot at other agents, not having to worry about losing anything, not having to worry about, you know, getting ganked or whatever situation because they have a lot of teammates. Last Stand is a perfect example of what PvP can be for the casual player, the returning player, the newer player. So my theory on Division 2 that I think will work really good is that all PvP modes outside of the Dark Zone should not rely on your farming and how much time you put into the game as far as gear. I know this may be unpopular opinion, you know, some people want to use their gear, they worked hard for it, which is fine. I want that to be on the Dark Zone. But listen to this, I want Last Stand type game modes, let's say capture the flag, let's say elimination, let's say regular team deathmatch with just more than 4 players, let's say all these type of game modes from any other PvP game you've ever played. Think of all these game modes, but with like more so set classes, so that the skill gap obviously will still be there, because if you're better with the class and you know you play your role and you know how to do it, you can smack on people. You don't have to worry about them having a crazy advantage over you. Like, even though Last Stand is normalized, it's still very unfair for new players. Let's say I'm a fresh 30. Last Stand is still not safe for me. I still have to go against classified builds. I still have to go against people who have better roles than me, and pretty much it's not even fair. Like, if you have a 4-piece striker versus a classified, it's not fair. So Last Stand is good because it normalizes, it gives you a somewhat advantage against each other because you get max rolls, but it is still kind of DZ because if you don't have classified, you still have a problem. And if you're a returning player, you feel this. I learned this through playing PC, how valuable. I already knew how valuable having gear sets was, but playing without it, it gave me a mindset like, damn, like I don't have to play like this, but I can't imagine if I did. If my only experience in Division was without any classified gear to compete, like I wouldn't have fun. And I see how people, you know, the returning players say it's really hard for us to come back, and it makes sense. I mean, yes, they gave us reactivation caches, and man, you got to be grateful for that because it does help you farm. But for the people who want a PvP, it's not that helpful. But this is my fix for it, okay? This is Developer J speaking. So, like I said, proposed class system where there's set presets, or maybe you can choose between weapons or whatnot, but kind of still the same thing where it's mostly even. Everybody has to choose from the same things. You can kind of make a build on the fly, and you don't have to worry about being extremely outplayed due to the fact that they have a better gear set than you. It'll be mostly around classes, and this is obviously only on the other game modes, such as like, let's say they have a capture the flag, or they'll have like a search and destroy, or they'll have like some kind of gigantic like battlefield-esque war mode or something like that, or even bringing back Last Stand. Any of these type of game modes, I think it'll be better for returning players if there were a class system, and it would allow people to, like, let's say they took a break for 2 or 3 months, they can come back, hop right in, and still enjoy Division PvP without having to, you know, slave in the PvE zone to get gear. They can just hop right in with their friends, have fun, as long as they remember how to play, and it will bring longevity to the game because the people won't be scared to return if they do take time. Now, yes, this can limit a lot of things, especially for the people who grinded their gear. Like, man, I can only use my gear in PvP. In the Dark Zone, that kind of limits me, and what's the point of even farming? Well, that would be obviously a proposed problem, but the way I would say that is still the Division. You got to realize the Dark Zone is a lot of PvP content, even if you don't have the game modes. The game modes are just a bonus. Even right now, Last Stand and Skirmish are a bonus. People enjoy them, but I promise you, even if they didn't have their gear, unless you're that person that just loves, let's say Last Stand and Skirmish are your main, that would be different, because you say, I want to use my build, which makes sense, which I would say literally, if I'm a developer, what I would do is I'll just make every gear set of, like, towards the end, every gear set will be available, and it'll give people a time to test builds too. So let's say they don't have the build yet and they want to try it out. They can go into these game modes and have a cookie cutter version of it, kind of like a preset class, to try out the gear set, and it'll give you an idea if that's something you want to farm for. So, you know, obviously offering this will give a lot of variety to people, especially the ones who want to try out certain gear sets, and people want to try different things in the Dark Zone or in PvP modes. But one thing you got to realize is, obviously, at the same time, we have the grinders who wouldn't like this idea. But just think about it, man. Just imagine you having to take a break for 2 or 3 months. Let's say somehow, for some reason, which I doubt, early on the game gets stale, or you got to leave to the military, or you had to sell your console or PC or something, and you couldn't play Division for a specific amount of time. A couple metas pass by, and you want to come back and have fun. You don't have to necessarily slave to get the perfect God roll gear set. You can just hop in, have PvP, and have fun in an active game mode where a lot of people will enjoy, because they are on even playing grounds, and it will bring kind of like a competitive-esque to the Division. Like, a lot of people want competitive play. That is the closest you'll get. Everybody will be even. You have to choose between your loadouts, and it'll be like that. Just like any other competitive game that isn't a battle royale, you will be able to be on even grounds, and you play and you play. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would do it. The proposed game modes I have, I need a capture the flag. I feel a capture the flag will work perfectly in this, especially if you have team synergy to keep that flag carrier alive. Let's say they pick up the flag, they can't use skills or med kits or nothing, and that means somebody has to be, you know, holding next to them, healing them, and it could bring a lot of variety to the game. Elimination obviously would be pretty dope. How it will work with builds, I don't know, but I do feel like they can somehow make it happen. Obviously some form of battle royale or survival 2.0 I would love. Please revamp survival. My God, that is the most potential game set that we've ever had in the Division. So I think survival by itself can be a whole game if it was done a little bit differently. And honestly, I feel like as much bring back Last Stand, I feel Last Stand's really good for the hybrid PvE PvP combination. I think this was a perfect game mode. Just, you know, change little things here and there so that it's not so much running, and I feel that it'll be way better. So that's my idea. I want to know what you guys think below. What do you think about some kind of class system for PvP modes that aren't the DZ, especially for returning players, so that they get a chance to enjoy certain gear sets that they don't probably have, or certain weapons that they haven't tried out yet, and they can kind of have it all the time, because if they like PvP and they can main it, that can be their home. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think about that? Let me know. If developer Jay is tripping, shoot this to the devs, man. You know, if you guys enjoy this idea and you wanted to get out there, share it with them on Twitter. Let me know if this is even worth passing on. This is like my little suggestion, my little YouTuber 2 cents that I want to put into it, especially PvP, because that's near and dear to my heart with this game. So I want to make sure that we have the best of the best, especially with this amazing dev team that we have, an amazing game coming up. So let me know below in the comments. Slap me a like if you're down with this idea. Feel free to dislike if this is completely against it. I'll completely agree with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Hopefully Division 2 PvP is what it can be. You know what I'm saying? Maximum potential. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all. It's been real. Your boy is out.
Fun playing this year.